Welcome to LobbyComply Pod from State and Federal Communications. We are your source for lobbying, compliance, ethics, campaign finance, and election news from across the country. Hello, this is Elizabeth Bartz, President and CEO of State and Federal Communications. Let me transfer you to Joe May, who will introduce this week's podcast.
Hi, Elizabeth. I am Joe May, and I have with me today Nick Hollis. Nick, welcome to LobbyComply Pod, and tell us what we'll be talking about today.
Hey, Joe. Today, I think we'll cover the topic of our media. I'm Nick Hollis, and I am the Digital Media Coordinator here at State and Federal Communications. And today, we'll look at everything from social media to blog posts to our top podcasts for the year.
Great. Top posts of 2025. Well, where do we start?
Well, since we're on the podcast right now, how about we go ahead and start with our podcasts?
Yeah.
So every year, it seems like there's a post for our most egregious news of the year. This year, Jim Cedar sat down with Elizabeth Bartz, and they discussed not only the most egregious news of the year, but also talked about 25 years worth of news you can use.
Oh, yeah. That was from July. We had fun recording it. And, it was a great tribute to the 25 years of news you can use.
So that actually ranked number one of all of our podcasts for the year. I think the most egregious news usually captures people's attention.
I'm glad it had a lot of listeners.
The second most was our local lobbying and what you need to know in regards to that with John Cozine. That was our February podcast, if you want to go back and check that one out.
Oh, that was a good one. John sorted out the complicated issues of city and county lobbying laws.
And coming in third was managing stakeholder groups with Gene Cantrell, and that was a January. So that was at the beginning of the year, our podcast.
So that's the top three podcasts. Where would you like to go next?
Next, let's go ahead and take a look at our blog posts.
Yes. LobbyComply blog celebrating 15 years.
So, of course, our research and compliance department is constantly watching for news that relates to everything from lobbying to ethics. And sometimes what ends up being most popular in our blog posts are completely a surprise. And sometimes it's a bit more expected. Both second and third most popular publications in our blog this year came from our Ask the Experts column. The third was our pre-clearance program for personal contribution. That was a piece submitted by Nola Warren. And then we had another piece by John Cozine come in, which was about paying lobbyists a bonus or a success fee. And then random one came in first. It was Illinois' 2025 campaign contribution limits. That was published back in February of this year by Marilyn Wessel.
A lot of eyes were on those contribution limits in Illinois.
So it seems like our blogs always have a few surprises in them. The Ask the Expert is definitely a favorite, and we end up seeing that pretty highly ranked month after month.
So after the podcast and blog, where do we go?
So I also wanted to talk about our social media platforms. We primarily focus on Facebook, LinkedIn, and then X, formerly Twitter. LinkedIn is where we see some of the best traction for everything from our news reporting to our social engagement within our community. And so we have a very good mix of different content that ranks highly through that platform. The United Way of Summit and Medina Counties Brennan Leadership Award was awarded to Elizabeth Bartz and John James in August, and the recap of that award ceremony ended up ranking the highest out of the entire year's worth of posts.
Oh, I'm glad. It was a phenomenal moment. I mean, the United Way chose Elizabeth Bartz and John James for their inaugural Brennan Leadership Award for philanthropy.
The second LinkedIn post to rank highly was regarding the Junior League of Washington.
Oh, yes. That was the Women's Leadership Breakfast. What a great organization. And State and Federal Communications was a sponsor of the event.
And here's probably a good place to talk about how we kind of have crossover between these platforms as well. The third most popular post on LinkedIn was related to Athena Akron.
Athena Akron. That was a once-in-a-lifetime event. Elizabeth Bartz received the 2025 Leadership Award.
This also ranked number 3 on Facebook as well. So quite often our audiences show up both places, rooting for the same events and supporting the same posts. Our Facebook posts are quite often about what's going on in the office. So our top posts actually for the year had to do with the United Way of Summit and Medina counties coming in and presenting our annual kickoff.
Our United Way campaign. Well, here's to our friends at United Way.
So October 10th is when that took place, and it was a very busy day around here. We also had a whole gallery set up.
Oh, this is one of my favorites. I loved that this company hosted an exhibit for the artist Jennifer Vincek. It was a wonderful way to use this office space in support of the arts. Hey, Mayor Malik and Summit County Executive Eileen Shapiro were there too.
That was with the partnership with Arts Now of Akron here as well. On Facebook, we also saw a Donut and Cider event, which is an annual event that we host here in support of the United Way of Summit and Medina counties.
The Donut and Cider sale. We sold a mountain of donuts and we made a lot of money for United Way that day.
And then our third major platform is X, formerly Twitter. So, for instance, on X, the popular content often has to do with not only happenings within the industry, happenings here, but also things like our new subscriber tools for our website.
The new website, yes.
And those were launched back in February. And one of our posts that had to do with that actually reached up to number 2 on that list. So it's pretty interesting, Joe, what captures people's attentions on different platforms, how they vary, and what information they find most pertinent. We're always finding new information out of what captures people's attention and what's important within our industry based upon the analytics that come back from these different pieces of media.
Well, Nick, this was great. I'd say this is a wrap for this episode. Thank you so much for being with us.
Joe May, thank you so much for having me today.
Thanks for listening to LobbyComply Pod from State and Federal Communications. For more news, visit LobbyComply.com. To learn more about how we can guide you along the road to compliance, visit stateandfed.com.